Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another live show. And this is episode 125, and I've actually been doing a lot of stuff in the studio. I was updating all my Apple TV 4Ks because I use those for the green screen backdrop and the intro portion, and also updated the ATEM Mini Pro. That's right, ATEM Mini Pro. They released a firmware update, or I should say software update today. Today is September the 25th of 2020, that year that we probably all want to forget because 2020 is a year of the Rona, man, and we don't want to have to dwell upon that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right in here. Got a lot of cool stuff coming. Obviously, one of the big things is going to be the Appalachian Trail. You know, getting out there with the bears and the cougars and the bobcats and all kinds of other wild animals. I'm going to get out there and do some backpacking and get some good videos for the channel. You know, keeping my social distance. You know, I don't want to get too close to the bears. I don't want to get too close to people or anything. But you know, keep my distance and bring some content to the channel. So you know, even though we are in these troublesome times, you know, we can all choose to do things that we can do to enjoy life and get out and get exercise. One of the biggest personal conquests, Infused Adventures. What's up, man? Infused Adventures, man. Welcome aboard. Long time. Whoa. Oh, I just scratched my roof. Long time viewer. So that, my friends, is the sound of the super chat. If you're just tuning in to a live show, anytime that you choose to super chat, you can click that little super chat icon. This thing right here will erupt. And if we get through $100 US during a single live show, I will break out the drums. So, yeah, a bunch of things going on, and I've been posting a lot of tutorial videos about it. One of the biggest things I've got is, you know, and this is not a politically correct channel, so, you know, don't, well, I mean, yeah, laugh at me or say whatever. Brad, welcome aboard, sir. Welcome aboard. You know, one of the biggest conquests is getting rid of the gut because, you know, when you got a pandemic, you get fat. You get fat because you're probably not going to want to get around people in a tight and closed space, you know, go to the gym. I'm a religious gym nut, even though I'm still fat. You know, I do the gym because I try to not get too fat. You know, my rule of thumb, or I should say my rule of two fingers, if I can stick my two fingers in my pants and they still fit, then that means I'm not too fat. I've got a moderate-sized waistline, 36 inches. I'll never get larger than 36 inches. If I start to, what I'll do is just get tuna, and I will get water, and I will eat that for about a month and a half, and I will drop a ton of weight. And then I can get fat again and eat whatever I want. Brad says, I'm sitting at home with COVID. Oh, COVID. Woo, COVID. Brad, tell us about your COVID, man. Brad says, I'm sitting at home with COVID right now. I was supposed to be on my way to the Grand Tetons in Yellowstone, but that clearly got canceled. So you got COVID. Oh, man. Well, the good thing is you're young. You can survive this COVID thing. So hopefully it's nothing more than a scratchy throat and a little bit of a cough. Yeah, Brad says he's got it from an employee at work. Man, that is not good. Not good at all. Well, I don't know what's worse, that you got COVID or you don't get to go to Yellowstone and the Grand Tetons. Man, that's, yeah, it's horrible. I mean, you know, like I said, you know, you're young, you know, you'll get through this, you will fight. You're a fighter, you're a winner, but, you know, you won't have that chicken dinner in Yellowstone. Yeah, man, Jake says that's not good. Infused Adventures says have you used the new Mavic Air 2 update yet? Infused. Great question. Great question, sir. I have not used the new Mavic Air 2 update yet, but I will be using the new Mavic Air 2 update within a few weeks. That's on my to-do list because I've got to do that. And then Brad says, all is well. My family ended up getting it from, and then Jake says, thank God I've never got COVID and I've been doing good so far. Excuse me. Good deal. And Brad says, not much of that. I've had a weird and bizarre smell feeling going on the past week. My best advice for that, man, get you a good bourbon. The best way to do away with and then the O Show says, good day there. Good day, the O Show. Brad says, it's been nothing more than a light cold symptom for me, very mild. And I hope that's all it is. You know, the problem is if we find out that this is lab created, and I'm not, you know, well, I guess I am kind of poking the finger at you because he said you got COVID. Here's another way to look at it, and this is kind of thinking outside the box. You know, you got COVID, but like you just said, it's nothing more than a light cold symptoms for me, very mild. You know, what's to say that a lot of people just aren't getting the cold and they're badging it as something, oh, it's horrible, it's COVID-19, stay at home, lock your doors, man, lock your doors. Who knows? But I wish you the best, man. Do I drink scotch? You know, I've never gotten into scotches, and I need to do that because I know a lot of people drink it. This right here is just a Four Roses, and that's, well, I got water and ice in it. Four Roses is a Kentucky bourbon. I need to get into scotches, but I love my bourbons. You know, they got legs, man. And then Jake says, I've got some good news to share. I've got a new kitten. She's a Savannah. I've named her Lee, and she's 3 months old, but she's still baby. That's going to be a huge cat. Big Savannah cat. Those are big cats, man. Very cool. And Few says, yeah, the Zoom feature is a nice touch. Very, very, very nice. Brad says, I already said I don't drink. What bourbon are you drinking? Like I said, I'm drinking Four Roses. Four Roses is from the state of Kentucky in the United States of America. So we got a bunch of interesting stuff. I tell you, one of the, Brad says, I've tried scotch in Edinburgh, and it is hard stuff. Oh, man, I bet that stuff over in Edinburgh is some hard stuff because that's like, that's over there across that pond called the Atlantic Ocean. And I bet that's got some, I bet that's the, you know, that's the authentic stuff, you know. I mean, that is super cool, man. Yeah, that is super cool. Speaking of super cool, the Gopro Hero 9 has blown my tail out of the water. That GoPro Hero 9 action camera, you know, it's one of those deals I haven't, admittedly, I took the O Show. How are you liking the GoPro Hero 9? So we're going to talk about GoPro Hero 9, and then Brad says, did you hear about the Mavic Mini 2 possibly coming out by the end of the year, as well as the Osmo Pocket 2 is rumored to come out October 20th. We'll talk about that in a second. let's hit the GoPro Hero 9 first. So the GoPro Hero 9, and I'm just going to shoot it like it is. You know, I'm not here. Well, I am here to put on a show because this is a live show, but I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. So the GoPro Hero 9, the last GoPro I used, admittedly, I think, and check out my videos, my GoPro playlist. I've got them all from GoPro, Hero 2 through present. I took a brief break from the GoPros because I was playing with the Osmo Action. I was playing with the Osmo Pocket. Obviously, two very different cameras, well, and three if you count the GoPros. But so GoPro released the Hero 9. And because I'm going to go to the Appalachian Trail and I've got to do some backpacking, I'm going to have bears. You know, if you got a bear, it's not like you're going to just, excuse me, bear, may I pull my Sony Alpha camera out? Bear's not going to let you do that. You've got to have your GoPro, head mounted. Actually, I won't be doing monopod because I'll be in the Smokies and I use hiking poles because a lot of those trails are sketchy and you can just fall and die. So you want to have a hiking pole. So with that being the case, I've got a backpack mount. Stay tuned for the videos for the GoPro Hero 9 Black. The GoPro Hero 9 Black, and I've been testing it so far, and it has blown my mind. I mean, obviously the video quality, I'm using 4K 30. It'll do 5K, but the 4K 30 is more than acceptable. I feel that it's a good image quality. I mean, obviously this is this camera's a few $100. It's not a Sony Alpha. It's not a super high-end mirrorless camera by any means, but for an action camera, dude, it performs like Trump. And the fact that it's easy to mount, the stabilization is what blows my mind. GoPro Hero 9 Black, Hyper Smooth, will blow your mind. I mean, it's check out my videos. It's super cool. And I'm not doctoring it up, so I love the GoPro. Do I have any complaints in regards to the GoPro so far? Not yet, but I probably will, and if I do, I'll post a video. I mean, I'm not like a GoPro fanboy. I like GoPro, but I'll say whatever. And then Brad says, did you hear about the Mavic Mini 2 possibly coming out by the end of the year, as well as Osmo Pocket 2? I did not, but it makes sense. I don't think we're going to see a drone. I don't think we're going to see the next drone until probably Q1 or Q2 of 2021. And, that's going to be the Mavic 3 or the Mavic 3 Pro, whatever they call it. I'm curious about those action cameras, though. If GoPro releases the Osmo Pocket 2 and the Mavic Mini 2, the Mavic Mini 2 really piques my interest. And if it has 4K, I think that could be a really solid drone to consider, especially if you want ultralight USB rechargeable capabilities in the field. So, that is definitely interesting. Jake says, already have 4 other cats, 2 Bengal girls and a gray and white tabby girl and an Abyssian, and now my Savannah kitten. I bet she will be a tall kitty when she gets older. Yeah, Savannahs are huge, man. You're going to look like you got an African serval cat. Male Savannahs get bigger than females. Very cool. Infused Adventures, how do you feel about the Hero 2 versus Osmo Action? I'm sorry, I said Hero 9. The Hero 9 Black versus the Osmo Action. Hero 9 Black is an immediate winner. Better image quality, better stabilization, better battery life. And I'm not saying the Osmo Action is not good, but I'm saying the GoPro Hero 9 Black is better, in my opinion. Infused Adventures, I had a bear ask me that question last week. That's good. Was it a black bear? Was it a grizzly? Was it a polar bear? Was it some sort of bear that's not yet identified? We exchanged cards, and we were on our way with the bear. Very cool. You got to have that business interaction. Hey, bear, may I film you? Will you be on my YouTube channel? Sure. Okay. Will you eat me? Oh, no, I won't do that. Good. The Osho, how's the battery life? The battery life on the GoPro Hero 9 Black so far is phenomenal. Granted, I took out one battery, went out, did a bunch of backpacking, or not backpacking, day hiking. Check out my videos. I've got more. Actually, I'll post another one after this live show. But it performed really well. I am going to pick up some other batteries, some additional batteries, because, you know, when you're out on the Appalachian Trail, you know, you want to be able to have extra batteries. And, you know, granted, I'll take my solar battery bank so that I can recharge my GoPro Hero 9 Black batteries off the grid. And, but yeah, one battery, man, the best battery life from a GoPro to date. And I was thinking the larger capacity GoPro battery on the Hero 9 Black was going to be because of the front-facing screen. The reality is that it just, you know, there is a front-facing screen, but dude, that battery life is so much better than the previous GoPros, Hero 8 through, you know, GoPro Hero 1. JPen PDX, he says, I just got the Hollyland Mars 400 wireless transmitters for my cameras that are hooked up to my ATEM Mini Pro. Maybe you should try one to eliminate those long ass HDMI cables in your studio. I would love to try one. And if you have a connection at Hollywood Mars, shoot me a message, because I'd love to do that. Cable management is super important. You got to reduce that clutter. You don't want to trip. You know, you don't want your guests to be tripping on cables. Not a good thing. Yep, not a good thing. That sounds cool, man. Thanks for sharing that with me. Brad says, DJI CEO hates the camera quality on the current Mavic Mini so much that they want to release another one. You know, honestly, I dislike anything less than 4K now, because I think 4K is the new standard. But with that being said, I had great success with upconverting the 2.7K Mavic Mini footage to 4K. Did it look as good as a Mavic 2 Pro? No way. Did it look as good as a Mavic Air 2? No way. Was it usable? Was it acceptable for social media purposes? Yeah. Yeah, and the fact that it was, you know, rechargeable off the grid. But you know what? Yeah, bring us Mavic Air, bring us Mavic Mini 2, and bring us 4K. What if they brought a Mavic Mini 2 out that had a 1-inch sensor? Can you imagine that? And USB rechargeability? That would be a game changer. That's not going to happen. That's wishful thinking. Jake says, the Savannah is crossed with a serval, but Lee's mother was a Bengal, and her father was a Savannah. Rawr! The O Show says, awesome. Are the files easy to edit? Talking about the GoPro Hero 9 Black. Yeah, they're actually very easy. I use, actually what I'm using for this live show right here, this MacBook Pro. I use Final Cut Pro 10, no problem. Works like a boss. I'm currently filming in 4K 30, and it's very easy to edit. Stay tuned for my 5K. I want to test the GoPro Hero Black 5K video quality. And then, you know, not only test the quality, but also discuss the editing workflow. Is it easy to edit GoPro Hero 9 Black 5K video on a computer? In my case, and granted, my MacBook Pro is pretty powerful, man. It's the i9 with 32 gigs of RAM. Will that video bring this to a crawl? Is this computer powerful enough? This computer is more than powerful enough for the 4K 30, but stay tuned for the 5K. Let's see. Jake says, I've got Lee with me right now. She's kneading on me, but I have to admit it hurts a bit more than my adult cats knead on me. And Jake says, probably because Lee has needle-sharp claws. Yeah, they're wild animals, man. Servals. Rawr! And Jake says, you make me do this every time with the sound effects. Infused Adventures. Mavic Micro, 1-inch drone. Jake says, since Lee is 3 months old, her claws are a bit sharper than when she gets older. And Infuse Adventure says 8K video, 360 maybe. How that sound? You give me 8K video and 360 degrees spherical on a Mavic Mini 2, that is a boss. That is a boss drone, man. USB rechargeable, take it out in the field, take you a solar battery bank, recharge off the grid like a boss. That would be too cool. Super duper cool. Now we got JKP in PDX. PDX, I think it's the airport code for Portland, which is in a state called Oregon in the United States of America. DJI loves to upstage GoPro, so I wonder what the Osmo Action 2 will offer that is different and better than the GoPro Hero 9. My guess, 1-inch sensor and interchangeable small lens. I think the 1-inch sensor is a very good guess, and I don't know if it'll be... Interchangeable small lenses would be kind of cool, but it's kind of gimmicky. I think what we're going to see from Osmo Action 2, I think you're right with the 1-inch sensor, because that's going to, that would just put, GoPro Hero 9 Black in the dirt potentially. But I think the mods, mods are the big thing now. And there's that Insta360, which looks cool. It's got a 1-inch option. It's got all of this. But with that I think it's called the Insta360R, another viewer, it was Philippe. Philippe had said, hey, man, do an Insta360R versus GoPro Hero 9 comparison. And I looked at it. And the Insta360R, it's like out of the box. Okay, it's like, yeah, you buy the camera, you buy the base kit. But then you start adding up all of those add-ons, those mods, those Insta360 mods. And I'm not saying it's not a good quality camera. I have not tested the Insta360R. So if you're watching this, if you want me to test it, let me know. But I looked at it and I'm like, okay, this is a few $100. This is a few $100. I'm like, I'm not going to invest that much into an action camera, because it's not like you just buy the camera, then you buy the mods, and you're buying a 1-inch sensor, you're buying a 360, you're buying a blah, blah, blah. Not worth it for me. My primary camera is where I'm going to spend my money. Jake says, servals actually sound like a big house cat. In some places can be kept as pets, but in Canada and the USA, you need a license to own a serval. But I've seen them in zoos, though, and they are majestic. The Osho says, what cameras do you use in your studio? Right now, this in this quality, because it's it's streaming and it's 1080p 60. This is a Sony A7R4 with a Sony G Master 24-70 GM lens at 70mm. That's what I'm filming this with, and you can find that on my website. The microphone, of course, is this microphone right here, the Rode Pod Mic, and it's running through the Rode Rodecaster Pro through the ATEM Mini Pro. You can find all this equipment on IrixGuy.com, so check it out. Support my channel, dude. That would be awesome. Tell your friends, tell your colleagues, tell everyone you know, because it's it's your support. If you're looking for this gear, just go to IrixGuy.com, man. Help me out. Help me out. Speaking of help me out, if you want to super chat, this thing right here, if you super chat, this is the sound of the super chat. So if you choose to super chat, that thing will go off. Jake says, and the serval is my favorite African wild cat. Jake also says, did you know a serval can jump about 12 feet or more from the ground and catch birds in midair? 12 feet, man. That's like twice the height of most people, man. That's insane. And Jake says, someone I know has a female serval named Farah. She's very graceful when she walks and jumps. Ooh, that is crazy, man. Oh, and don't forget your IrixGuy's Adventure Channel t-shirts. This t-shirt, like I'm wearing right now, head on over to Amazon.com, search for IrixGuy, and you can find this t-shirt. Well, not the t-shirt I'm wearing, but this exact same style t-shirt, variety of different colors, sizes. You can find it for men. You can find it for women. You can find it for everyone. You know, just go to Amazon and search for IrixGuy, IrixGuy, IrixGuy. And I'm going to order another color. I've got gray because, granted, I'm kind of cheap, but I wear this a lot. And, I mean, I do wash it. I got a washing machine, so I wash my clothes. But, yeah, I am going to pick up one in some, you know, in a few different colors to mix it up. But I love these shirts, man. Soft cotton, good fitting. I mean, I'm kind of fat. I got a little gut right now, but I'm trying to burn it off with the Schwinn IC4. JKP in PDX says, did you see YOLO Live yet? It's a portable streaming unit like the ATEM, but with a built-in screen. Actually, I have not seen that yet, but I got to check that out. That sounds really cool, especially for in the field use. I mean, obviously, and I know a lot of people that take their ATEM Mini Pro, they travel with it. My ATEM Mini Pro is going to remain in my studio because I've got a more portable, not that the ATEM Mini Pro is not portable, but I carry so much junk when I travel that, that I'm going to take another piece of kit to live stream when I'm in the field. So I've got what I'll call is remote work site where I'm not in my studio, but I still want to live stream professionally, so I'll have gear for that. And then I'll also have the ultralight live streaming equipment when I'm in the field and I want to do something a little bit better than my iPhone, but I want to keep the size and the weight down. Jake says, it's those long legs that give them the extra power in the jumps. Farrah can just about land on your head. Excuse me. If she jumps at you playfully. Not to hurt no claws, just pat with her big paws. And Brad says, hopes for Mavic 3. What would you really like to improve upon? Anything in particular? Yeah, Mavic 3. So number one, give us the ability to recharge by way of USB. Come on, DJI. Don't just pack USB recharging capability into your Mavic Mini. Give us the ability to recharge, even if it's slow. I don't care. I'm in no rush. Give us the ability to recharge Mavic 3's batteries with USB. Also, interchangeable camera. Give us the ability to put a VR camera, a 360 camera on there. Let us put a 1-inch sensor camera on there. Let us put a zoom camera on there. Let us put, some sort of camera we haven't even heard about right now. Let us put whatever else on there. Maybe we don't want to put a camera. Maybe there's accessories that aren't cameras that we want to put on the drone and, do something with. I mean, who knows? Give us that. Give us small, lightweight, portable. Mavic Air 2, Mavic 2 Pro, that size is acceptable. Perfectly small and lightweight enough to travel with, but heavy enough to perform well in moderate wind. I think they're doing well, but things can always be better. I mean, don't say, well, this is it. This is the end of the rope. Nothing to improve upon. Yeah, granted, DJI does not have competition. Well, real competition. They don't have real competition, but that's no excuse to become complacent and fail to innovate. Come on, innovate. Bring us something better. Give us better pricing. That's the other thing, make drones affordable. And I think that's something that they could do, but they don't have to because they don't have competitors. So, DJI can pretty much dictate their price, which is understandable. I mean, capitalism. Dude. I mean, capitalism is what makes the world go round. And I mean, I can appreciate that, but give the consumer some better price options. Give us a stripped down drone. Maybe I just want to buy the drone and buy the cameras later. I just want to buy the flying tripod. Give me that option. Don't make me buy the bundle. Maybe I don't want it. What do you, Brad, what do you want to see from the Mavic 3? What is on your wish list, low to high? Jake says, she will just bounce off your back, pat with her paws, and then run away and chirp. And Jake says, if you wonder what a serval sounds like, look at the YouTube video serval sounds, and you can hear what a serval sounds like when they talk. It features Farrah herself. We will have to check that video out, everybody. So search the YouTube video serval sounds. So search for serval sounds and watch Jake's video. Not just watch, but watch and listen to Jake's video. So yeah, we got hoo-hoo. Ha ha ha. So it's let's see, what do we have here? Yep, in Sony they released the A7C, which is a full frame, I wouldn't say ultra compact, but a more compact Sony Alpha camera, Sony E-mount full frame camera. So, that's kind of interesting. And other than that, man, I mean, we've got, a bunch of stuff coming. And, like I said, Appalachian Trail videos, going to get out on that trail, going to get those videos going with the bears and the wildcats and the bobcats, or the bobcats and the cougars and the mountain lions and all that wild stuff, the wild boars. So, that'll be interesting. And that's in progress. And then, let's see, what else? Yeah, just all that brewing. So stay tuned for more GoPro Hero 9 videos. Obviously, the flight with the latest Mavic Air 2 firmware soon. Check out my Schwinn IC4 videos. I'm still fat. But, dude, I'm getting less fat because I'm using that Schwinn IC4, and that stuff will wear you out. Brad says, I'm curious if DJI will have a new form of transmission system. I hope the Mavic 3 works with smart controllers still. I would like the Mavic 2 Pro and Mavic 2 Zoom combined. Longer battery. Yeah, longer battery, and granted, the battery life right now is freaking awesome. But, why not get better? I mean, technology improves. I agree with you there. Swappable cameras for sure, man. We're on point for that. The smart controller, I mean, it's, and then Bot says, hi, I'm from India. Welcome, Bot. Good to have you from India, man. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in for the live show. Greatly appreciated. JKP and PDX, curious minds want to know, what does your wife say about that GAS, gear acquisition syndrome, that you have? I have the same problem. You know what? Here's the bottom line. And I want you to tell me what you think about this. Bottom line is this, is that if you don't have subject matter to discuss, Jake, it's bedtime for you, man. You gotta go to bed. That's fine. Just, yeah. Go to bed. Go to bed. Have bad dreams. So, yeah, the gear acquisition syndrome, I think it's actually a good thing. It's because if you don't have content to review, if you don't have content to test, you can still do. I mean, there's channels that, that don't necessarily, focus upon physical items. It may be more adventure. It may be conversational, just this, that, and the other. But I think that the gear is important. And, my wife doesn't care about it. I mean, she's cool with it. And the thing is, I'm like, look, I mean, to be blunt about it, I mean, it's kind of like, well, the gear is important because the gear got us here. So, anytime I go to the Caribbean, anytime I'm in Bermuda, wherever, it's like, yeah, I mean, this is a cool place. This is a cool environment. These are cool people. These are cool places to, cool things to do. But, the gear is part of what got us here. You can't, it's not like you can just say, oh, I'm just going to do this, I'm going to do that. I mean, unfortunately, we are inevitably, as a human race, and as I didn't say, as humanity, as a human race, human, the people that have two legs and two arms, humans. We as humans are, we're a slave to the dollar. And unfortunately, that's the way it works. So, if you can find a tool to enable yourself to break free of those chains and go and do, then, that's typically a good thing. So, gear acquisition syndrome, as you referred to as GAS, gear acquisition syndrome is actually a positive, because what it enables me to do, I'm able to purchase this gear. I'm able to review this gear. I'm able to have fun with this gear, and possibly less than positive experiences with that gear. But the gear is what got me here in the background. This right here. This is where my tripod was sitting. Where my butt's sitting right now is where my tripod was sitting. This was Pinnell Island off of St. Martin in the French West Indies. I could never have paid to go to that. You gotta have something to fuel the fire. And for me, gear acquisition syndrome is part of what did that. And it's and I always remind, I'm like, I always remind my wife, I'm like, we're here, this may seem like a vacation. This is not a vacation. This is an extension of the gas. This is an extension of the gear acquisition syndrome. This is part of what got us here. Now, we're here, we're going to have a good time. You do whatever you want. You have a good time. But while I'm here, it's a business. I've got to review. I've got to capture the environment. I've got to film and edit travel videos, and I've got to capture video content that I can later incorporate into future travel tutorial videos for whatever travel destination. So, all this stuff blends together. It can be fun. If your definition of fun is reviewing gear, traveling to places, editing videos, publishing videos, promoting videos. And when I say promoting, I mean, sharing on social media, sharing on your blog, website, etc. As a business. Now, even though this is a business, man, I like to have fun, because if you can't have fun doing what you do to make money, you can't be happy. So happiness, so gas creates happiness. Gear acquisition syndrome creates happiness, because I'm able to buy all this gear, and I'm able to, and again, if anything you see on my website, if it's a, GoPro, if it's backpacking gear, whatever, please expand that video's description and then click the link there if you're looking to purchase that gear, because that's what helps my channel. That's what helps me. That's what enables me to continue to pursue this curiosity, adventure, traveling, what's over there? What's over there? Is there a bear behind that tree? Well, I probably wouldn't be asking that question if I wasn't in the wilderness, because, you gotta have the fuel to travel. You've got to have the fuel to purchase the gear for the adventure. I mean, it's, life's not cheap, man. And life's what you make of it. I mean, I know a lot of people, and some of them are happy and some of them are not. But the people that I know that have gear acquisition syndrome, tend to be the most happy. And the reason they are is that they're doing that because, they have their mind wired in an entrepreneurial way. They're not going out and frivolously buying a new camera. They're not going out and frivolously buying a new whatever widget. They're going out and buying it because, number one, they can have fun with it. Number two, they can provide value for others. Number three, if people choose to purchase that item through their links, they can get a small commission. Number four, if there's multiple items, they can combine those and then pursue greater adventures. Like in my case, travel. I love to travel. It's fun. You get to get out of your box and you don't see all the cookie cutter stuff. I mean, I've been in rough places. I've been in places where, people have threatened my life, which is fine. Who cares, man? I mean, it's not that big of a deal. But, the bottom line is that if you don't have that fuel to provide the opportunity to pursue adventures, you're probably going to lead a very dull life. And whether you realize it or not, see, if you're and I know a lot of people that are super, let's just say locked down, and this is pre-pandemic, people that, they didn't really have the desire to go anywhere. They didn't have the desire to do anything. And in their minds, they didn't realize what they were missing, because you can't realize that you're missing something until you've been there and you've done that. And, that's the fortunate part that, that's the thing that I point at in a positive way when it comes to IrixGuy's Adventure Channel so far, is the opportunities it's provided. And some of those opportunities are just going, the unexpected adventures. I mean, when you're in, one of the things that pops up is when I was in the Cayman Islands, down there for YouTube, and just a random day on the beach, just going out, getting wasted and swimming with stingrays. I mean, you got these huge stingrays swimming up and all that, but then it's like, oh, are you going to do the bioluminescence? And I'm like, what the heck's the bioluminescence? And, something you never would have known about, and y'all probably don't know about. You may or you may not, but there was something called bioluminescent bay on Grand Cayman. So basically, you paid whatever Cayman dollars it was, and you got in this kayak and you put a glow stick on you so you wouldn't get hit by a boat, and you paddled out into this bay. And I'm like, this is pretty cool. Now, granted, at the time I had very poor quality cameras, so I couldn't capture it and do it justice. But basically what happened is that you got out there, and then as you paddled into this bay, you started to see water. Your kayak's oar, you started to see water that would start to glow. And then you would take your kayak paddle out of the water, and there were balls of light that would drop off of the paddle. And it was really trippy. It was like, man, what's going on here? And then you paddle into the bay, and then it gets really dark, and you get to where all this sea life is. And you put your hand in the water, and you pull your hand out, and you pull your hand up, and you can see balls of light just dripping down your hand. It was, dude, I mean, and granted, I hadn't had anything to drink because I was paddling a kayak in the ocean at night. But, when that happened, you saw that, it's like, who would have known that existed? That was, again, one of the positive aspects of of the gear acquisition syndrome, running this YouTube channel, something unexpected that I never would have otherwise encountered. Another cool story was in Bermuda, and that was, they dive down, and they'll go down, and lobster season, they'll take a boat out and they'll dive down, free dive, whatever number of feet, and they'll grab a lobster from the bottom of the ocean. That's a big thing. You go to all these different places, and I mean, I'm primarily a tropical guy. I love the Caribbean, but you go to these places. I mean, every place has a story, and these are stories that aren't told by people that your mainstream media, because it's so so localized. Some of these experiences, some of these stories that it doesn't really get out there. It doesn't get out there to the mainstream. There's a guy that lives on an island in the BVI's, and it's this place called Peter Island that I was on, and his name is Conrad. And I'm not going to spoil the story of Conrad, but a very interesting story. Conrad on Peter Island in the British Virgin Islands, and I encourage you to check that out. I mean, there's, everybody, every place has a story, and if you can, I'm trying to think of the best way to put this. If you listen to a story, that's one thing, but a story is just a story, whether it's on the TV, whether it's a friend, family member, whatever. When people are telling a story, that's it. It's just a story. And you as the listener, the perception is, okay, this is entertaining, this is not entertaining, whatever your takeaway may be. But if you actually live the story, then your story is experienced firsthand. So, you're experiencing something that other people may not even be aware of. And if they are, and if you share this story with them, they're never going to have that same gut feeling when they hear the story, because they haven't experienced it. And, one of my biggest things, I mean, it doesn't matter. Here's the thing. I'm a workaholic, and I'm an entrepreneur, and I do everything in my power to make as much money as I can. And it's not the money. The money, it is the money. The money is very important. But the biggest takeaway from this is that, everybody on this thing, this thing we call Earth right now, whatever it is. I mean, 2020 has been a horrible year. But, however you look at it, the O Show, the cover on my bike, I'll post a link to that. Shoot me a message, man. Facebook.com/IrixGuy, and I'll send you a direct link. Very affordable. I like it. It looks good. This is my Rode Pod mic underneath. But yeah, it's if you're able to fuel the desire to travel and experience these things and create these stories. I mean, everything. Here's the thing. I'm on a quest for a few things. Number one is to never be enslaved by any sort of whatever it may be, whether it's a job, whether it's whatever makes you feel confined, whatever makes you feel down. Break out of that. Entrepreneurship is an opportunity to test the waters, find what works, find what doesn't work, and the things that do work well, go, 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 churn, 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 churn and burn. Do everything that you can. But everyone should have an end game. And my end game has always been and will always remain happiness and adventure. And that's why it's called IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, because it's, it's figuring out how to, how to turn opportunities. And again, this is back to gear acquisition syndrome. That's just one of the components. How to turn opportunities into adventure and find these things. And I mean, if you can find things that, one of the coolest things was, I was in Jamaica, and I was in a very, very questionable area. And, we're just hanging out, drinking, having a good time, this, that, and the other. And actually one of the people there, it's like, they had all this stuff, they had the tourist stuff and this, that, and the other. And one of the dudes came to me, he said, "Hey man," he said, "You're cool as everything." He said, I want to hook you up with something." This dude had just caught a fish. There's a guy's tourist food. They're cooking all that, whatever. This dude had just caught a fish, and he's like, "Hey, man," he said, "I want you to have this. One of the best pieces of fish I've ever eaten." Right off the boat, he cooked it up, especially for me, just because there's that vibe. And that's the thing, when you go around the world, you're going to be perceived as a tourist. I mean, that inevitably, that's the way it works. But when you're around the world and you meet authentic people, authentic people are going to treat you right. It's all about how you carry yourself. It's all about how you interact with others, and ultimately, it's all about the experiences that you take in along the way. Because I can watch all these movies, travel across whatever continent, this, that, and the other. Movies can be great, but until you've lived these adventures, you haven't lived life. And if your definition of life is just staying in your hometown, doing whatever, that may be fine and you may be happy. But the bottom line is that, once you travel to those foreign lands, it doesn't have to be the Caribbean. It could just be another country. I mean, heck, if you're in the United States, it could be Canada. It could be Mexico, wherever. Once you have the opportunity to get out of your home area, your immediate 100 miles or so of your home, and I'd go a lot further than that. But once you have the opportunity to get out of there and experience, different cultures, different people, different food, different, just the things, some of the coolest things are, being in an unknown territory and just seeing what people do. I mean, one of the other things was in St. Kitts. I mean, it's a small island in the British West Indies, and their thing was, they like to go to. There was this restaurant which was awesome. It was called Sprat Net. Well, it is called Sprat Net. I mean, it's still there, but they're only open a few nights a week. And this is authentic as it comes, because they're only open until they sell all their catch for the day. So you go there, it's fresh catch off the boat, and when they're out, they're out. It's not a fancy place. They've got picnic tables out back. You walk inside, it's just kind of a big space, and you walk up in water, and it's just one of those things that things when you get out, especially if you're in the United States, and I'm not bad mouthing the United States by any means, but when you get out of that and you experience the the real world and the real people and the real food and the real traditions, it's just so much more uplifting than your day-to-day cookie cutter. Yeah, let's go to work, let's go to dinner, let's go have a drink, let's go watch a movie. It's so much more exciting. So that's a long rant, but I just want to continue that. You brought it on. You said gas, gear acquisition syndrome, and that's my very, very, very in-depth response to your question. I appreciate that question. Very good question, man. And Brad says, do you do much freelance drone work? I do a ton, man. I do a ton of freelance drone work. I do a ton of, and I don't get too deep into it in on my YouTube live show, but I do a ton of entrepreneurial activities. I mean, I'm not ashamed of it, but I mean, I'm a workaholic. I mean, I pretty much work from, about 4 a.m. until, usually try to work from about 4 a.m. until 5, but sometimes I work from 4 a.m. until 10 p.m. It's just a matter of, my momentum, my mojo, and all of this, what all I've got going on. So I've got a lot of irons in the fire, but I haven't yet, and I will, but I haven't hit the thing yet that'll create that multi-million-dollar wealth. And again, it's not the wealth I'm after. That's important because it provides freedom. It's not the dollar amount I'm after. It's the opportunity to just say, you know what, I've done it. And, at that point, just say, you know what, multimillionaire, boom, done, check that box, and then just become a mentor, a professional coach, do some free consulting gigs, also do some, paid consulting gigs, some paid speaking, public speaking, this, that, and the other. That's ultimately where I want to go with this. The Osho says travel broadens your horizons. Yeah, it definitely does, man. I mean, you look, people look at life as day to day, what you see, the intersection that you come to on the way to work, the people that you see on the way to work, the places you stop and eat, and it becomes monotonous. And to be able to break that monotony, requires travel. It requires that ticket. And that's a challenging thing right now with COVID, being addicted to adventure travel like I am here on IrixGuy's Adventure Channel. It's been tough for me, man. It's been very tough, but it's been educational, and it's caused me to innovate in other ways. So, I mean, obviously I've upgraded my studio more drastically than I ever would have, because, I mean, the thousands of dollars that I've spent on the studio would have been spent traveling, which either one would have been fine. But, it's provided me that so far almost not a year yet. I mean, hopefully this COVID stuff goes away soon, but it's provided me many months of confinement to improve, my studio. Brad says, do you have it under a side business? I'm just curious. Yeah, man, I run, and again, this is not legal or financial advice, but yeah, check with your lawyer and do whatever they suggest. But yeah, I run a limited liability carrier, single member LLC. That's the I used to run an S corp for one of my other businesses, an S corporation, and that required a lot more. There's a lot more upkeep than is required for a single member LLC. But again, check with your lawyer, check with your CPA or whatever, and they'll give you good advice. But yeah, it's important to to document everything, man. Keep a well organized ship, as they would say. But yeah, there's so much to do, man. I mean, if you just put your mind to it, and and like I tell everyone, think outside the box. Because here's the thing, and I see it very often. Here's the thing: you see people that are unknowingly they put themselves into this funk. They've looked at. They don't realize that they've done it. There's so many people, and this is probably going to change with the times, but historically people, they assume that, you go out and you get the college degree and then you get high paid whatever job. And it's not so cookie cutter. It's not so cookie cutter. Brad says, do you have a website and all? I'm personally curious. Yes, I do. And I would highly recommend, if you're somewhat tech savvy and you want to save potentially a ton of money, which is what I do. I'm a computer nerd. So, I run Unix and Linux, and that skill set enables me to save some money because I'm able to do a lot of it myself. I run AWS, Amazon Web Services. So I have a virtual Ubuntu Linux box. It's a virtual server. I control all aspects of it: the web server, Apache, the MySQL database, all the security, all of that. I administer everything. So I can do that on the cheap because I've got all that. But that's how I host my websites for my various businesses. The Osho says, where in the world is your background? Great question. So you can see behind me, that's St. Martin. And I want you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, the Osho, and check out my St. Martin video playlist. So where I'm sitting right now virtually, where I put my tripod when I film this backdrop, It's called Pinel, Pinel Island. It's an island off of St. Martin. My wife and I paddled over to this island on our kayaks. We had a house. The house wasn't directly behind us. It was kind of over there. It was on, actually that way. It was on a place called Cul-de-sac in St. Martin, and we paddled our kayaks over to Pinel Island. Great restaurants on Pinel Island. There's two. There's Yellow Beach, and the second one was called Kukubi. It started with a K or whatever. I can't remember. But you could hike around the island. Great food, great drinks. They had tables in the water, no waves. You just sat out there, you ate. Amazing food. It was expensive to spend a lot of money on food, but, it was one of those things I didn't regret any dollar spent. Paddling back after the great drinks, after the great service, after the great food, the beach, the hiking on the island, seeing the iguanas. It was worth every penny, man. I mean, it really was. And we did it several days. Brad says, I'm going through Squarespace with my website. Squarespace has a good reputation, man. I haven't personally used them. In the past, I co-located Linux servers, and then when I got out of the co-location, then I just used some cheap hosting through GoDaddy, which was pretty good. But, yeah, I mean, I think Squarespace, if you want to, if you don't want to administer your own server from a technical perspective, I think that's probably a really good choice. The O Show, awesome. Subscribe, man. I appreciate it. Check out all my Caribbean videos, man. Tell me what you think. Brad says, can you email me your website? I'm just curious how on design, etc., what you do. If it's personal, I understand. Yeah, man, shoot me, Brad, you've got my email. Shoot me a message, and I'll share that with you offline. I'd rather not share it on, on the YouTube channel. It's not that it's not that it's anything sketchy. It's not like I'm, mafia or anything like that. But I like to keep, one thing I like to do is keep all my, my multiple concurrent business ventures separate. So, obviously IrixGuy's Adventure Channel is one of them. IrixGuy's Adventure Channel being one of the more entertaining yet profitable ventures that I have. But I like to keep everything kind of isolated. But yeah, shoot me a message, man. I'll be more than happy to share that with you, no doubt. But and Brad, if I haven't recommended it, Squarespace may have tools, but if they don't, something I highly recommend, it's the best money I've ever spent. WordPress, of course, is free. WordPress is a CMS, a content management system for a website. One of the many. What I did is I purchased a theme for WordPress. It's called Avada, Avada, and I'll type that in here. Avada for WordPress. And what's so cool about Avada is that once you get everything laid out, and it's very graphical, you just log into your WordPress admin page, and then you go in and you can drag and drop, you can create templates. The beauty of that is that I can pump out, and again, your business model may be completely different, but for IrixGuy's Adventure Channel, for example, if you go to IrixGuy.com, you'll see my post, you'll see the menu structure, all of that I administer through Avada. So I can log into my admin interface, go into Avada. If I'm posting another GoPro video, for example, or a Schwinn IC4 video, for example, I can click my Schwinn IC4 template that already has my Schwinn IC4 affiliate link on on Amazon, where it links to the bike. I can have all that in there, so then I just add the unique text, the unique tags, and the unique embedded video code for YouTube. So that's a very cool template. And that template's not just cool for vlogs, for YouTubers. It can be cool for a dentist office. It can be cool for a lawyer. It can be cool for a computer consulting company, whatever it may be. It's a very robust template. And I've been using that for a few years. It's just a shortcut. I used to write back in the old days. I used to write my own HTML, my hypertext markup language. And now that I can take a shortcut, time's money, man. If you're spending time to develop something that there's a fast track for that can still provide quality, often you're behooved to to take that shortcut as long as it provides equal or better quality. And, time is money. And that's one of the things I always preach is, time is money. So, figure out how you can best optimize your time, tweak your workflow, get the most bucks from your 24-hour day. That's my best advice. Because ultimately, you want to generate enough wealth to where you can relax. I mean, there's nothing fun about feeling pressured to do something. It's like, well, do you want to work today? Okay, well, if you want to work, if you have to ask yourself, do I want to work today? That's a positive, because you're asking yourself, do I need the money is basically what you're saying, which that's a good spot to be in. But if you say, I've got to work today, that's saying, well, your business isn't where it needs to be. Churn, 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 and burn. Get it to where you can say, do I have to work today? And if you say no, it's perfectly acceptable. Get yourself to that point with your businesses and, really thrive and relax and enjoy life. The Osho says, do you like the look of the Sony A7S III? Actually, I really do. I like the way that the viewfinder flips forward on the A7S III. I think that's wonderful. I hope they bring that to the A7R, to the A7R5. I hope they bring that to the A7 IV. And all the future Sony Alpha model cameras, for that matter. I do like it. Now, will I be using the A7S III? Right now, no, because I got the A7R4. I get the higher megapixel for my still photos, because I do stills and video, primarily video. But, I'm looking forward to those features, the flip forward screen and that sort of stuff in a future model camera. Now, if I had the need for a secondary camera, probably what I would do right now would be buy the A7C, because I'd be able to do 4K 30 with it, still get full frame, and use it for video, but still get what is acceptable megapixels for the still photos. And I don't have the A7 III specs in front of me right now, but the still photo megapixel count for it is very weak. So, people say, hey, if you're posting to social media, that megapixel count's fine, which is probably true. But when you're spoiled by the A7R4 that I use right now, which I think is it 72 megapixels, something insane. I mean, I can crop in on something and not lose quality. So it'd be hard for me to, even though I'm primarily video, it would be hard for me to consider the A7S III rather, because the megapixel count on the stills is so low. If it was a 24 megapixel camera, oh, dude, I'd hop right on, because my priority is video. But if it had 24 megapixel, which it doesn't, that would be acceptable for most situations. But that's what I like about the A7R4 is that I can just pop that sucker out, and if I need to snap a still, after I do my videos or before I capture my videos, it's easy to do that, and I know I'm going to get outstanding image quality, and then I can crop it. If the photo if it's got stuff in it that needs to be eliminated, I can cut it out, and I probably won't lose quality when I post it. Because, those photos are huge, man. They are super huge from the A7R4. So, it's just one of those things. It is a cool camera. I admire what they've done with the A7S III, but I just, it's not that I want more, I need more. I need a tool that, because most of my adventure travel, I'm keeping the pack small and lightweight. So if I've got to throw another camera body in there for stills, it's something else I've got in there. Not that it's too big or too heavy, but depending upon how much gear I have in there, it could be, it could become a little bit cumbersome. So, just something to be aware of. But, yeah, man. Let's see. What is this right here? What is this? What is it? Woohoo! Very, very cool. we go. Uh-oh. I killed the wrong. Didn't mean to do that. I killed my green screen. I meant to kill something else. Yeah, we'll have to get out for some more live shows. I appreciate all the questions and the the curiosities and this, that, and the other. It's always cool to chat about stuff. But yeah, man, I mean, just keep your keep marching forward towards your goals, because I mean, there's nothing more disappointing in life than just going a cookie cutter route. I mean, career wise, man, don't look at a career as a 9 to 5 or whatever. I mean, look at a career as something that you don't want. Something that are you able to think? Are you able to process things in a unique way and create freedom for yourself? I mean, that's what at the end of the day, and that phrase is overused, by the way, but at the end of the day, if you can create financial freedom while concurrently enjoying life, that is what matters. And travel is a big component of that. So appreciate everyone tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to do so. It's youtube.com/IrixGuy, and ring that bell icon when you do, and that'll notify you whenever I post another video. And I'll be doing another live show soon, so if you want to be a guest, I'm always looking for live guests. Message me, facebook.com/IrixGuy, and I'll see if I can shoot you an invite to become a guest on an upcoming live show. Appreciate everyone tuning in. I got to go eat some chicken wings and just relax. Just relax. So y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channel to continue to grow. Thank you.